After Pokémon Legends Z-A, I am convinced that Mega Evolution will be part of Gen 10 in one way or another. But in order to explain you why I think that, we have to talk about someone that isn't in Z-A but is mentioned there. So hey, I'm notsoAceTrainer, and why am I so sure? Let's get into it. In Pokémon Legends Z-A, there are mentions of many characters that simply do not show up in the game, and one of them is Professor Sycamore. Professor Sycamore is the Pokémon professor from the Gen 6 games Pokémon X and Pokémon Y. He wasn't as old as other Pokémon professors, so it was strange to see him out of Pokémon Legends Z-A. There are pictures of him in what used to be his Pokémon research lab, and there are questions about why he isn't there. But one NPC actually gives us a vague answer. This one right here tells us that Professor Sycamore and Trevor, that's redhead guy from Pokémon X and Y in case you don't remember, and I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, but they are in some far off region conducting research. This is very interesting, and that is because of one simple reason, and that's the field of expertise of Professor Sycamore. You see, every professor has their own thing they study, and Professor Sycamore is no different, and his field of expertise is Mega Evolution. Trevor is a whole nother story. He wanted to be the first one to complete the Pokédex in Pokémon X and Y, so it kinda makes sense that he ended up as the professor's assistant. But because of the professor's field of expertise, the implications behind this reference are tremendous for the future of the Pokémon games. I keep going back and forth with this, but a long time ago I made a video about how Gen 10 would have Mega Evolution. The reasoning was simple, and you can watch the video if you want, but it was because of Pokémon Legends Z-A. It was the same reasoning behind you'll be able to get Hisuian Pokémon in Scarlet and Violet in some way. They want you to use them in competitive battling, but they were introduced in a game without competitive battling. Mega Evolutions introduced in Pokémon Legends Z-A wouldn't be able to be used in Pokémon Legends Z-A for competitive, and so they would let you use them in Gen 10. But then I went back on this statement because of the Pokémon Champions announcement. Mega Evolution can now be used in competitive without being part of an actual main game, and so that was it for the whole theory. But now Sycamore and Trevor are in some far off region. They are not in Hoenn, a region that has Mega Evolution and was mentioned by name more than once by NPCs. They are also not in Alola, a region that, while not introducing new Mega Evolutions, also had it in the games, and it was mentioned by name many times in Pokémon Legends Z-A. They did not even say Kanto, a region that, in the Let's Go games, actually had Mega Evolution as well. They specifically said a far-off region, which is usually used for something that wasn't yet introduced. Mega Evolution is a special gimmick in the sense that, like I mentioned, it is the only one that has traveled past its original region game. While Terastal technically has done it with Kitakami and Unova, it was all done in the same game and with a very specific caveat. Terastal needs some local source, while Mega is portable. If you take a Terra Orb to a place that has no Terra energy, you can only use it one time and that's it. Same thing with Dynamax, you need a power spot to exist for your Pokemon to get all big. But if you have a Mega Stone and a Keystone, you're fine to just do Mega Evolution. It's kinda the same thing with Z moves, but people didn't like them as much and so they never really explored them again. What this means is that even if you don't believe it is Gen 10, there is a region out there, a far-off region, where Mega Evolution is also happening, and we'll probably go there in the future and maybe even meet Sycamore and Trevor and explore the lore of this phenomenon once again. Still, it wouldn't be fair to not address the rest of the possibilities. I mean, one could just be they're in Hoenn, Alola or Kanto and they simply didn't want to say the name of the region, they just wanted to leave it up in the air. But that, my friends, that it's boring. And you know what? I know that reality is often boring, but we're not here to talk about reality. This is not real life, this is Pokemon. So let's look at the rest of the possibilities. One of them is Pokemon Champions. They could simply be a cross-canon thing in the new battle simulator that's coming in 2026, as it will have Mega Evolution and it will surely be considered some far-off region. For example, Melmetal is a Pokemon that doesn't belong to a named region, but in Gmax Melmetal's Pokédex entry, it is mentioned as being from a distant land. The only game you can catch this strange mythical Pokemon is a spin-off game, Pokemon Go. There, and because of them and the release of Pokemon Let's Go, you had Professor Oak make an appearance. The same could happen with Mega Evolution in Pokemon Champions, with Sycamore plus Trevor being there as some kind of nostalgic guides. They could lead us through the use of Mega Evolution as if they were experts on the whole thing. The other option, in my opinion, is the other side of a Hoopa ring. We have seen from the first Mega Dimension DLC trailer that there are more Mega Evolutions out there that are not known yet in the world of Pokémon Legends Z-A. Mega Evolutions like Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. If Sycamore noticed that possibility, there's a chance that while them leaving for a far-off region could be what the NPC assumes he and Trevor did, in reality they saw the possibility to both document new species, something that Trevor would love, but also the possibility to discover more about Mega Evolution, something that Sycamore would certainly go after. In my opinion, while this could be a great way to bring back a loved character and Trevor to Pokémon Legends Z-A, I honestly believe that Mega Evolution is coming back in the future game and they will be there for it. In fact, I'll play my cards now. I believe Professor Sycamore will be in Gen 10, not as the main professor, but as kind of a side professor, a side character, that will give us access to Mega Evolution in that region just like Dexio and Sinnoh did in Gen 7. Basically, we'll have the new gimmick just like we had Z-moves, but Mega Evolution will be there in the background, likely with no newly introduced forms. And Trevor, of course, Trevor will also be there doing Trevor things. But what about you? What do you think? Do you believe Professor Sycamore and Mega Evolution can return in Gen 10? Let me know down below. Now, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, I want to thank my YouTube member Good Old Deo and my Twitch subscribers Nubis Here, Zanes222, Lazarix, Dr. Joe, Dark Puffy 1, Ventura, Blinkfish, Streamer Maxis Back, and Official Noise for going that extra mile. Thank you so much for all of your support.